I was only about 10 years old when it happened. It was daytime, early afternoon, I think, and the old farmhouse was brightly lit by sunshine streaming in through the windows. I was used to playing alone, inventing imaginary games to keep myself entertained while Mom was busy with chores. On this particular day, I was wandering the halls, peeking into the various rooms out of childish curiosity. Pausing at the doorway to my parents' bedroom, something compelled me to venture inside. I can't explain what drew me in there, but it felt almost as if an unseen force was pushing me along. The room was tidy, everything in its place, nothing unusual that I could see. I poked around a bit, opening drawers and peeking into the closet, more intrigued than Snoopy. As I turned to leave, a flickering shadow in the corner caught my eye. Whipping my head around, I scanned the room again. Nothing seemed amiss. But then I noticed the hallway door, which I'd left wide open, was now closed. Odd. I didn't remember shutting it. Dismissing it as forgetfulness, I headed for the door to exit. But just as I grasped the handle, a chill crept down my spine. That's when I saw it. At the other end of the hall, half cloaked in shadow, stood a silhouette. I froze, squinting through the dim light. Alarm coursed through me as I realized this was no ordinary shadow. It was distinctly human in form, and yet completely featureless, like a vaguely man-shaped absence of light itself. I stood paralyzed, staring down the hall at the shadowy figure. It didn't move at first, seemingly content to watch me from the darkness. Then, slowly, it began to glide forward, closing the distance between us. My heart pounded as I fumbled frantically for the doorknob, my child's hands slick with panic. I could feel the shadow drawing nearer, could sense its outstretched arms reaching for me. With a gasp of relief, I wrenched the door open and burst into the sunlit bedroom. Slamming the door shut behind me, I collapsed to the floor, hugging my knees as I waited for the terror to subside. Eventually, my breathing slowed and my heart stopped racing. Warily, I stood and cracked the door open again, peering into the hallway. Nothing. No shadow man, no lingering gloom. Had I imagined the whole thing? I wanted to believe my mind had conjured up a make-believe spook, but something in the pit of my stomach told me what I'd seen was real. I avoided that hallway after that day. If I needed something from the rooms beyond it, I would ask Mom or Dad to grab it for me. They chalked up my behavior to childhood phobias and anxieties. But I knew the truth. I knew that whatever sinister presence I'd encountered was still lurking within these walls, waiting for another chance to terrorize me. Over the next few weeks, I started catching glimpses of it in mirrors, in windows, in any reflective surface that threw back a shadowy image. Just a flash of darkness, a trick of the light, but enough to make my hair stand on end. At night, I'd pull the covers over my head like a shield, praying for daylight to chase away the creeping gloom. But even then, I didn't feel safe. I'd wake from nightmares, sensing it hovering over my bed, reaching for me with smoky arms. Finally, I begged my parents to move. I told them I felt something bad in that house, something I was afraid of. They didn't understand, but seeing how distressed I was, they agreed to look for a new place. The day we moved out, I sat in the back seat of the car, twisting around to watch the farmhouse disappear from view. And just as we rounded a bend, cutting off my sightline, I glimpsed the shadow man's featureless face peering out an upstairs window. My new home felt warm, welcoming. But it took a long time to stop glancing over my shoulder, afraid of seeing that shrouded figure waiting for me. Years have passed, yet I still see him sometimes, lingering at the edge of my vision. A cloud of darkness, an icy cold spot no one else notices. He's followed me, I'm sure of it. And though decades have gone by, the fear remains, a whispered warning that still makes my blood run cold.